Stephen Colbert is making sure his final week on television goes out with a bang, and Donald Trump remains firmly in the comedian's crosshairs. As The Late Show prepares to air its final episode on May 21st, Colbert has doubled down on his relentless mockery of the US president, delivering another blistering monologue that quickly went viral online. CBS viewers have already expressed heartbreak over the show's cancellation, but many are especially mourning the end of Colbert's nightly Trump takedowns, something the host appeared more determined than ever to deliver during his final episodes. Opening Tuesday night's show, Colbert teased the audience with what sounded like a major announcement. "This is our last week, and I have an exciting announcement," he began, as the crowd erupted into cheers. But the comedian quickly pivoted into a brutal jab aimed directly at Trump. "We may be canceled," Colbert joked, but apparently The Late Show outlived the Constitution of the United States. The audience burst into laughter as Colbert launched into criticism of what he described as Trump's latest abuse of executive power. Because yesterday, without any congressional or court approval, completely unilaterally, Donald Trump gave himself a $1.8 billion taxpayer-fueled slush fund. The fiery monologue continued with Colbert revisiting Trump's legal battle involving the IRS and the leak of his tax information. The comedian then turned the segment into a running gag involving rapper Lil Jon and former IRS contractor Charles Little John. After asking whether Little John leaked the tax records, a clip of Lil Jon shouting, "Yeah," suddenly played on screen. Colbert tried to correct the confusion, joking, "No, not that Lil Jon," but every attempt to continue the segment was interrupted by more chaotic Lil Jon soundbites, including repeated screams of "what" and "yeah," sending the audience into hysterics. The segment quickly spread online, with fans flooding social media to praise Colbert's final week performances and beg him not to disappear from television entirely. The Late Show's cancellation was announced last year, with CBS insisting the decision was purely financial and unrelated to Colbert's political content or repeated criticism of Trump. Still, speculation has continued online, especially as Trump has publicly feuded with late-night hosts and repeatedly lashed out at networks critical of him. Colbert, however, appears determined to spend his remaining days on air exactly the way he built his modern late-night legacy, by taking direct aim at Donald Trump. And judging by the audience reaction, viewers are savoring every final moment. The famous 5 late-night hosts have invited a massive Trump wrath by revealing their no-bars text chain, where U.S. First Lady Melania Trump is a constant source of brutal mockery, it so appears. The Strike Force 5, Stephen Colbert, Jimmy Kimmel, Jimmy Fallon, Seth Meyers, and John Oliver reassembled on The Late Show for the final time before Colbert's show officially ends on May 21st. But instead of keeping things emotional and nostalgic, the reunion quickly spiraled into jokes about Donald Trump, Melania Trump, and the private group texts that apparently explode every time the U.S. First Lady gets angry at Jimmy Kimmel. According to USA Today's coverage of the chaotic reunion episode, Jimmy Kimmel openly admitted that Melania Trump has strong feelings about him following his controversial joke last month, where he referred to her as an expectant widow. The joke had already triggered backlash online, but during the Strike Force 5 reunion, Kimmel and the other hosts turned the controversy into comedy material once again. The audience erupted when Kimmel hinted that Melania's reactions have practically become entertainment for the group's private celebrity text chain.
Seth Meyers immediately piled onto the joke by teasing Kimmel that most of the other late-night hosts had somehow managed to avoid becoming personal enemies of Melania Trump. But the biggest laugh came when British comedian and Last Week Tonight host John Oliver revealed what apparently happens inside the host's infamous group chat whenever Melania gets furious. Oliver joked that receiving a dramatic "oh boy" text from Kimmel, along with a picture of an angry Melania, had become one of the funniest recurring moments inside their private conversations. The conversation soon shifted into Donald Trump's ongoing obsession with late-night television. All 5 hosts admitted they never expected their comedy shows to become regular targets of presidential attacks. Trump has spent years slamming late-night comedians online, repeatedly demanding networks fire them for mocking him and his administration. But during the reunion, Seth Meyers sarcastically pointed out that Trump might actually be one of the few remaining people still faithfully watching late-night television live every night, mostly so he can rage post about it afterward. Jimmy Kimmel also joked that while Disney Plus viewers once threatened to cancel subscriptions during his own controversy, nobody seemed willing to do the same over Stephen Colbert's Late Show ending. Kimmel sarcastically asked why audiences were not canceling Paramount Plus in protest, before joking that maybe nobody subscribed to the streaming service in the first place. But despite all the jokes, the emotional reality of Colbert's departure still hung heavily over the reunion as the hosts reflected on the uncertain future of late-night television in 2026. As the reunion continued, the hosts balanced emotional tributes with complete backstage chaos. The group revisited how Strike Force 5 originally began during the 2023 Writers Guild strike, when the hosts launched a podcast to financially support their writers. According to Kimmel, the podcast unexpectedly became a hit because fans loved seeing the comedians speak freely without network restrictions. That same uncensored energy was fully on display again during the reunion, especially whenever Melania Trump's name entered the conversation. Toward the end of the episode, the hosts played a wild confessional game, revealing bizarre celebrity encounters and awkward backstage stories. Kimmel admitted he once kissed television icon Regis Philbin, while Stephen Colbert confessed to making out with multiple famous guests over the years. But even during the lighter moments, jokes about Trump world continued hovering over the conversation, with the audience repeatedly laughing at references to Melania allegedly monitoring late-night comedy from afar. As the Strike Force 5 hosts gathered for one final emotional hug around Colbert's desk, the reunion perfectly captured why the group became such a phenomenon during one of television's most chaotic eras. Political satire, celebrity gossip, personal friendships, and non-stop Trump drama all collided in one unforgettable episode. And now, thanks to jokes about Melania's strong feelings and the host's brutally honest text chain, the reunion is exploding across social media, with many wondering whether another furious Trump response could soon follow.